So you should be on the second page where the muscles are. I've already given you guys diagrams showing you where all the muscle groups are. I also gave you copies of male and female. You can make your eyes open or closed. It's up to you. You can also, some people, bless you, have asked if they could do, for example, incorporate a zombie or some type of creativity into it. You certainly can, but I still want you to follow the muscle groups. So the reason why we're looking at the muscles is because it's important to see, first of all, where the muscles lay on top of our skull. If we didn't have muscles, our face would not have shape. If you guys notice, if you look at this picture real quickly, you can see all the shadows indicate where we have all the shadows on our face. So, for example, if you see this big shadow right here on these cheek muscles, that is a natural shadow that all of us have when we're looking at our face. We always have a highlight on our cheek and then it goes into shadow. So, when we're looking at the muscles, around the eye socket we have an upper lid of muscle, we have a lower lid of muscles. This is how our eyes open and close and blink. Above that eye, we also have muscles where our eyebrows are, and that's how if you raise your eyebrows or wink at somebody. You also have a group of muscles right above that brow line, but it doesn't go all the way up to your skull. This actually turns into cartilage. Our nose is going to be hollow, but around the nose there's a small group of muscles as well. And then all this right here, these are all our upper cheekbones. And then we also have our lower cheekbones and mandible. This is how our mouth opens and closes. Our lips, we have a set above our lip for top lip, and then a set below for our lower lip, and then a couple of, like 2 or 3 down here around the chin. So first thing we're going to do is practice drawing the muscle. If you're going to do your muscles in black and white, we're going to actually draw the shape of the muscle first in pencil. And then remember that first activity, when we practiced technique when you started this class, we practiced an activity with line variation and line weight. So do you remember, guys, when you push down the pencil, you get a heavier line? And then when you don't push down, you still get a line, it gets lighter. So it looks like a highlight. We want to do the same thing here. So we're going to increase that. We're drawing the fibers of the muscle. It looks just like you guys have eaten steak or chicken. You can see these little lines on that meat. So right now we're drawing our muscle tissue. Okay, and I've pressed down harder on the edges to show the shadow. And I've eased up on that pressure in the middle to show that highlight. The next step to increase the shading is we're gonna do the same process we did for the shattered image. So I'm gonna shade from the very edge, push down as hard as I can, and then ease up on that lightly as it comes to a highlight in the middle. And I'm gonna do the same thing on the top. So if you've noticed, we're using all of the steps we've learned this semester, starting with line weight, now moving into value. And there we go. There is a muscle fiber, okay? If we're going to move to color, all you need is a light red, a dark red, and a black, okay? So you're going to do the same thing. I'll make this one larger. Draw the shapes in red. Now you're going to draw the lines to show the fiber, because all of our muscle tissue looks the same. Okay, if you haven't seen a human muscle tissue in real life, it looks very similar to steak. It has those lines of fiber. And then we're doing the same thing. We're going to shade. Take your lighter red or even that dark red, and we're going to shade from the very edge, just like shattered image, dark as I can on that edge, and then slowly fade it out to the light in the middle. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Bring that down. There we go. And so then the final step, if I want to really accentuate those shadows, I can take my black and go over those lines and even shade in a little bit here if I want to. So there we go. your muscle in black and white value, your muscle in red. So now I'm going to show you as you move to the final draft. Everybody has started off with, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. There we go. Everybody has started off with, bless you. Let me get this ready. You have your skull decorated in the middle. And now you're going to move to the muscle portion. And to get that, you can use the light table, or you can use the light table, or you can hold it up to the air. If you've drawn dark enough, you should be able to see the features. So this is going to represent my blank calf. Remember, the paper is supposed to be going through right through the middle of the nose and the teeth to represent an even half. If you didn't get it even, no big deal. Just make sure you're choosing the smaller side, because it's going to look weird if you have no nose in the final draft, okay? So with your paper, and I'll do this, I'll choose I'm going to choose a lighter color so I can draw on top of it to show you. So with your pencil, you're going to lightly outline, and I'm drawing it darker so you can see, you're going to lightly outline all of the features of the skull. And all you need to do is the eye socket, the skull, around the jawline, and then for the teeth, all you need to do is align where the top and the bottom teeth meet. Okay? So, after we have this outline, I'm going to show you now how to do the muscles. And like I said, I have, you can look on Classroom to get these diagrams in color if you'd like. Probably a better print quality. And now we're going to start putting in our muscle groups. Remember, our eyeball is inside of this eye socket. This is what protects our eyeball from being harmed. And then our, like I said, you can have your eyeball open or closed. Should I do this one open or closed? Open? Okay. So, we have our eye socket that protects our eyeball. So the top of our eyelid and our bottom eyelid actually protect our eye from popping out. If we didn't have our eyelids, our eyeballs would just boing, pop right out. Our upper eyelid always goes, this is my eyeball and this represents my pupil. The upper eyelid always goes right over the top of your iris. Okay? The bottom lid always comes right at the edge of your iris. So that's how you know how big your eyelid opening needs to be. And then the top of the eyeball is where the top of that muscle should be. So that is your eyelid right there. And then we know where the bottom of our eyelid is because we have the top right underneath the iris, and we have the bottom of our eyelid right on our eye bone socket. And if you actually feel with your finger, you can see your eyeball rests right there on the bottom of your socket. So we know that our bottom eyelid rests right here, right? So I'll draw my my iris in real quickly so you guys can get a better visual of that. And you can even shade in if you want. You can use color or just the pencil, no big deal. So I have my eye going. Remember, right above our eyelid, we have our brow, a muscle on our brow line, as well as right here underneath. So I'm going to go ahead and lay that top muscle group in. Then I'm going to go ahead and the top, my forehead muscle comes right off of that edge and then turns into cartilage. So I'm going to draw that shape here. I have a small group of muscles here on the side of my head. And then, if you guys notice, we outlined my cheekbone. So my cheek, this is the cheek band right here. It comes all the way down. Those are my cheek muscles. And then I have the outline of my nose, and I have a couple of smaller groups of muscles there. We already indicated where the top of my mouth is, so we know where to put the top lip muscle, and these all connect to that edge, and then my bottom lip muscle. And now I can put in my lower jaw muscles and chin. Alright, so once I get everything laid out, now I'm going to go in and do what we just practiced right here in that box. Alright, so you just, after you get your muscle outlined, you're going to put the fibers in and then start shading. See how it starts to come together, just like your Shattered Image project. So we practice shading. Alright, if you want to accentuate those edges, you can, with the black, remember? And that'll just make it look a little bit darker. You can even outline if you want. And then just keep going. So now I'm going to do my eyebrows. Get the lines in. Same deal. Shade dark to light. Dark to light. The muscles up here go in a different direction. These are all round. This shows the curve of my eyelid. You guys are noticing this is looking, when we move to our face, do you notice how this looks more like a realistic eye now? This is where I'm going to outline where the top of that eyelid is. So you guys starting to see in real life, this is why muscles are important. This is the exact same shading we're going to get when we're doing our actual picture. So the lines up here go up and down fibers. They don't have to be perfect. Look how fast I'm doing those even. But now I'm going to do the same thing because our eyebrows are usually darker. So I'm going to make this just like Shattered Image. It's going to go dark to light. And dark from the top to light. Remember, if you have trouble finding any reds, I have opened a brand new box of reds so I can get you anything you need. And again, if you wanted to accentuate those lines, which I think sometimes looks nice, because it really gives that illusion that there's shadow and highlights. Alright, see how the muscles are starting to come together. And now I can move to my cheeks. This side, this goes in that direction again. Always, just like Shattered Image, you're always going dark to light on the edges, dark to light. And now my cheeks. All the way to my lip area, and same thing here, dark to light. No matter which direction your shape is, you're always trying to pay attention to that curve. And now I'm getting realistic shading. So when you guys go to your skin color, and I'll talk to you about, it can be black and white, but you're going to be doing the same shading technique, except without these fibrous tissue. Okay? Starting to see that shading. Lips, same way. If you want to do, some people have said they want to do realistic lips, you can do that. I don't mind. But underneath those lips, we have muscles, and that's how we can speak, how we can maybe have expression, blow a kiss for Valentine's Day. It was. It's also springtime. It's close to prom. If If you wanted to show a little bit of a tooth, you can actually just copy the teeth underneath, or you can have your lips closed. It's up to you. Starting to come together. So your nasal cavity is going to be hollow, so you can just copy what you've already established on the inside, and then you just put the muscles on the outside. So it's a smaller muscle group right here. Our face is kind of a mixture of muscles and cartilage. And most of our nose is actually cartilage. You guys, if you, with your finger, if you feel, you can feel like where the bridge of it is right here, and that's bone, and then most of your nose is basically just cartilage with skin over it. And then our cheek muscles. And this connects our lower and upper mandible. And then we have the muscles in between there. And then our final cheek muscles. Alrighty. If you wanted to include your ears, you can. I did on my example, or your neck, but because of the snow days, I actually made this assignment smaller so we don't have as much space. But typically, your ear lines up with the top of your eyebrow bone right here, and the bottom of your nose, which is, remember this is cartilage, so that your bottom of your nose is actually lower than your cartilage. So your ear will be right in this vicinity, and your neckline actually starts right where your ear and your face touch, so your neck would actually be right there. Oh, sure. All right. So there we go with the muscles, okay? And this is the same on the other side, depending on whatever side you do, okay? So we're just finishing today. We're finishing designing your skull, which should reflect you. This person loves flowers and music, and then, bam, you're going to lay your muscles on top.